Hey everybody, it's Loomer. I'm here at E3 2014 with Alex Amancio, creative director on Assassin's Creed Unity, previously creative director on Revelations as well. And we're going to be talking today with two interviews, one covering non-story questions and then one covering story questions, which originally I had collected for Travis Stout, the lead writer, but it turns out he's actually not here at E3, so we'll do it with Alex instead. So Alex, we have questions from the community that have been voted on and ranked. So our top question is from One Cat Estonia, who asks, in a co-op game, do all players see themselves as Arno, or can we choose from different characters?
Thanks. So yeah, essentially everybody plays Arno in the game. Assassin's Creed Unity is the story of Arno, and you actually get to build up his skill set, his gear, his weapons. But when you're playing, you play Arno, and what you see as the other players that are playing with you is actually the specific gear of your friends, but they're just generic assassins' faces because everybody is playing Arno's memories.
Okay. Great, thanks. So this is our second highest voted question. We know the answer to this, but I'm hoping you can elaborate a little bit more on it. This is from Matsum from Oslo, who asks, will there be a separate multiplayer similar to the previous games with the new focus on co-op? So it's already come out that there is no adversarial multiplayer, the one that's been in since Brotherhood. I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little more on the reasoning behind taking it out. You know, was it like a popularity thing? Was it a budget thing? Or, just in general, thoughts behind that?
Essentially, we really wanted to have multiplayer, right from inception, but it was really challenging to do so with all the other constraints we had. So we were able to get fans of multiplayer ever since, from Brotherhood on, but because of those technical constraints, we had to actually have a different executable, right? It was never in the same game, so it had different 3Cs, right? The camera, the controls, all of that was different, and we were never totally happy with the fact that it wasn't sort of a seamless, unified experience. So this is why we've been working really hard on Unity to essentially integrate the possibility of actually playing with your friends into the engine. Now, for this reason, we had to redo most of the code. This is why this game has been in the works for such a long time. That idea of the replication. So when you're playing with your friends, you actually have to replicate the game state of what they're seeing in their own game, right? That is a huge programming challenge. So we wanted to create this unified experience, and this is what we've achieved with Unity. This cooperative, this shared Assassin's Creed experience. And we also wanted to bring that exact experience. We wanted to make it closer to what you're actually playing in the core of Assassin's Creed. So this is why the specific co-op mechanics, the specific shared mechanics that we've integrated into Unity are that you're actually playing the Assassin's Creed game that you've played, this new version of the Assassin's Creed, this evolved version, but you're playing the core Assassin's Creed game with up to 3 friends.
Yeah, I know I know that was a little bit of a sticking point for people who tried the multiplayer because it has all these different, the compass and the mechanics are quite different. But I also thought, the fan base for the multiplayer was small, I think, compared to the general Assassin's Creed fan base, but very passionate, and I think it was something really unique. And so I'm a little heartbroken to not see it, but I'm also hopeful that hopefully in the future, I'm hoping it'll get rethought and just really brought back in full force. That's my hope anyway. I know you can't comment on anything like that, so I'm not gonna bother, but okay. So we have a question from Frost from Egypt, who asks, in what ways is AI and combat improved, and how difficult is the game as a consequence of the dev team's changes, these two aspects compared to past games? So basically, AI combat and how difficult is the game?
Combat is much more challenging in Unity, and we did this for several reasons. First of all, players always follow the path of least resistance. If the easiest thing in the game is combat, then the game will degenerate into combat. And what we're creating is an Assassin's Creed game. You're supposed to be stealthy, right? The assassin is supposed to be strongest in the shadows, rely on his stealth, on his tools. So we made combat more challenging to sort of encourage this stealthier approach. Which doesn't mean that it's frustrating. We changed a lot of things in our combat that we felt needed a revamp to make combat challenging yet fun and deep, right? So, for example, if you're facing more than 2 enemies, you start getting in trouble because the third enemy will try to shoot you. If there's 4 enemies, there's going to be probably 2 enemies trying to shoot you. So the first beat of our combat, of our new combat, if you will, is how to manage multiple enemies. Contrary to other games, in the series, they just don't wait in line to attack you. They're actually even going to try to team up and sort of attack in concert to destabilize you. So the first speed of combat is really attacking, keeping them off their balance, individually, so going from one enemy to the other just to destabilize them, to prevent them from sort of ganging up on you. The second beat is when you're actually engaging one enemy. It's more like a sort of a rock paper scissors type thing, in the sense that there's a hit, parry, dodge sort of thing, right? So the idea is that we also remove the automatic dodge, right? Like the automatic counter, to make exactly the counter kill, because we felt that made it a little bit too easy, right? And you also can't use the same patterns on every type of guard. You need to learn how guards behave. Like, for example, if there's a dude wielding a heavy axe at you, maybe dodge might be smarter than trying to block the shot, right? So just an example of the sort of like mechanics and the new knobs that we've integrated into the combat system.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up with a couple quick questions here. We don't have too much time. It was mentioned that a new skill is called Eagle Pulse. What is Eagle Pulse and how does it differ from Eagle Vision? This is from Alice L. in the USA.
All right. Eagle Pulse is the first level of the Eagle Sense. So because we have a progression system, we have skill points, and you can actually buy skills and then upgrade your skills on Arno. Eagle Pulse is just the first iteration. So you actually activate it, it creates a pulse, it highlights the information, but then that fades very quickly. The second level is Eagle Sense, where it remains more stable and you can actually get more of a sense of your environment. It doesn't fade out. And the third iteration is sort of a communal sense, where if you're playing co-op and you have the skill level 3, your buddies actually also see the information that you get from your Eagle Sense. So it's sort of a co-op aggregator.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so we have a question here from hold on, I missed it. Oh, here we go. Wolfmeister from Russia. Can you go deeper in depth into the systemic open world and what sort of events we will come across? I know it's something that fans have been wanting for like every game since forever. So,
all right. There's actually many things. First, for example, there's murder mysteries. You might stumble upon dead bodies, and you can choose to sort of, try to solve those cases. You need to investigate, find clues, interrogate people, and then you can actually accuse and put somebody in jail. This is centered around the character called Vidocq. He's the founder of modern criminology in France. Okay, so and you can actually go to the jail and see the people that you've jailed, and maybe you've put innocent people in jail. So we really let you accuse, any suspect you want, and so that's one example. We have contracts, and these are very varied. They might be kill missions, they might be protect missions, they might be missions where you need to find something for somebody, but they all center on famous historical character from Paris or an event that actually took place, or a context that actually took place in Paris. So all of these things are you doing really cool stuff and learning about Paris at that time. Then there's treasure hunts. These are based on Nostradamus, who lived in Paris in the Middle Ages, and it has to do with him having left clues, and you follow those clues. You know how we have these huge databases that we always give with each game, right? And some people like reading them, but there's really typically no need to actually read them. Well, for these things with Nostradamus, it actually clues will be in the database, right? If we're talking about like this riddle about this monument, it's in a clock in Paris. Maybe there was only one clock in Paris at that time, but if you know that because you read it in the database, then you can get there and get the next clue. We have, systemic crowd events like, people stealing stuff. We have murders. We have stuff like that. We also have letters. You would just be strolling into an interior, and, for example, you find a letter, and it's sort of a slice of life of characters that, lived at that time, or, some story. Maybe somebody scribbling a song that became a famous revolutionary song. It just adds to the depth of the city. We have environmental setups. You walk into a room, you find blood, it's weird, so you Eagle Sense, you find traces that lead to the back of a painting, and then you discover that there's something hidden behind the painting. So, we let the story, we let the city be the storyteller, and you essentially carve your own path through the city, and you do the story beats that you want to do.
Okay, cool. So that's going to wrap up our non-story questions. So thank you very much, Alex. Be sure to check out our other follow-up interview about the story questions for Assassin's Creed Unity. See you later.